Stop Antisemitism has named Miss Rachel a top 10 finalist for this year's Anti-Semite of the Year award, which unfortunately your boy did not make the list. Anyway, let's take a look at the heinous and dangerous rhetoric Miss Rachel has been spewing to the world.
Let's go back to sleep, Rahaf. We're so tired. See the bunny sleeping till it's nearly noon. Shall we wake them with a merry tune? They're so still. Are they ill? Wake up soon. Let's pretend to sleep.
I'm beginning to think that there's something much more sinister at play here. And as it turns out, behind Stop Antisemitism is a woman that is, quite honestly, much more evil than Miss Rachel could ever be. And that woman goes by the name of Liora Rez, and she is the founder and executive director of Stop Antisemitism. According to her bio, she is a refugee from the former Soviet Union where anti-Semitism was rampant, she says. And she goes on to say that sadly in the United States, she encountered disturbingly similar rhetoric and behaviors. Disturbing and dangerous rhetoric, you say? Evidently, Rez is a failed fashion blogger in the business of, quote unquote, creating consequences while desperate to avoid them herself, they say. Last year, she allegedly used fake addresses in empty buildings to try and avoid a defamation lawsuit. Let's take a listen to what happened there.
There has been some deep dives into StopAntisemitism.com. One of the defamation suits that they have faced had to do with the fact that they literally defamed a young hockey player at a school who, did something bad. He vandalized and did graffiti. But Stop Antisemitism wanted to take it a step further and claim that he was doing graffiti of swastikas, which wasn't true. In fact, rabbis at the school came out and defended this individual who we don't know the identity of. This person is a minor, but they also allowed him to apologize for the graffiti at the school during Shabbat, knowing that people weren't going to have their phones on them and they couldn't record it and then out him and destroy his life. My point is, antisemitism.com defamed him, claimed that he spray painted swastikas. That was not the case. In fact, rabbis came to his defense and debunked that. The student then filed a defamation lawsuit, and it's impossible to sue the woman who's behind this account because she uses fake building addresses and things like that to evade defamation lawsuits.
Wow, talk about hypocrisy, right? Rules for thee, but not for me. So you know what we have to do today. We're, of course, going to expose her. You come after Miss Rachel, and I will come after you. Context is that there's a group called Stop Antisemitism that is accusing Miss Rachel of having transformed her platform into a, quote, amplifier of Hamas propaganda. This is the post that they're citing as anti-Semitic, which the message here is basically stop bombing babies. I mean, we are beyond parody at this point. They're also calling on Attorney General Pam Bondi to investigate Miss Rachel for being a foreign asset or whatever. Once again, just unhinged. But let's turn the table here, shall we, and find out who exactly is funding Stop Antisemitism. This next part actually took me a little while because they've actually done a pretty good job of hiding who is behind that group, as they're not a 501c3 nonprofit, meaning they don't have to file any paperwork with the IRS. On their Wikipedia page, it just says that they are a privately funded American advocacy group focused on combating anti-Semitism by exposing individuals perceived by the group as anti-Semitic. Lot of quotation mark usage on my part, I know. The group was founded by this lady named Leora Rez, who is a refugee from the former Soviet Union. Remember her name? We'll get back to her in a second. There's also this article from the Washington Post that reports that the Milstein Family Foundation lists Stop Antisemitism as a supported organization on their website. And Adam Milstein is Israeli, served in the IDF, and then moved to America in 1981. But yeah, that's kind of all that's been reported about this organization. That's all we knew up until now. Remember when I said Stop Antisemitism doesn't file any paperwork with the IRS? Well, I did a bunch more digging and I found this fundraising campaign for Stop Antisemitism. And if we scroll to the bottom here, you'll see an organization called the Morona Leadership Foundation. That is their fiscal sponsor. And as you can see here, it is a 501c3 public charity. So I pulled up the 990 for the Morona Leadership Foundation. And lo and behold, listed as their top officer, Liora Rez. Same lady as before. And their top funder is an organization called the Impact Forum Foundation, which is a, quote, exclusive pro-Israel network of philanthropists to fight anti-Semitism, strengthen the state of Israel, and advance the U.S.-Israel alliance. A super American agenda. Scroll down a little bit more, and we find out that the Morona Family Foundation is tied to a bunch of other NGOs, which I'll read off for you, just a few of these for your sampling, such as the Central Fund of Israel, Israel 21C, the PFE Israel Endowment Fund, Students Supporting Israel, Talk Israel. Like, what the heck is going on here? But yeah, let's investigate Miss Rachel, who teaches kids hide and seek because she might be funded by Qatar. I want us to take a look at that 990 again. We see the address, 15910 Ventura Boulevard, Unit 700, Encino, California, 91436. And that address is registered to none other than one Adam Milstein. Okay, we got a familiar name here. We are definitely on the right track. And 15910 Ventura Boulevard, Unit 700, per Google Street View, looks to be inside this nice-looking modern high-rise. So then I looked up the tenancy records to see that Unit 700 belongs to a Hager Pacific. Well, turns out Hager Pacific is a commercial real estate firm owned by Adam Milstein. Boom. Now everything makes total sense, right? These rabbit holes, sometimes they do lead us somewhere, which is that an advocacy group, StopAntisemitism, is funded by, it turns out, a mysterious nonprofit that is funded by Israel, the Morona Family Foundation, which is then also tied to a massive commercial real estate firm owned by an Israeli citizen. That would be Adam Milstein's Hager Pacific, which is probably where Miss Rez is likely getting her various fake addresses and empty buildings from. Again, these are their real addresses, one in Newport Beach, one in Encino, and a third in Los Angeles. Do with that information what you will. That is it for me this week. What a dig, huh? Let me know what your reactions are in the comment section below. I appreciate everyone for being here, for caring about holding evil people accountable, even if the odds are stacked against us. I want to just also give a quick shout out to all the new subscribers, the 5149 news crew, the producers. Man, it warms my heart so much. This is only possible with your support, so thank you so much. Let's just keep it going, yeah? If you're not able to contribute, no worries. Just take a second to give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends and family, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can be the first to know when my next video drops. As always, I'd like to thank you for your time, and I'll see you in the next one.
Milstein told Tony how critics of Israel should be handled.
First of all, investigate who they are, what's their agenda. They're picking on the Jews because it's easy, because it's popular. We need to expose what they really are, and we need to expose the fact that they're everything we believe in. And we need to put them on the run. Right now, they can do whatever they like, terrorize us, and we are...
How do we put them on the run, though?
Doing it by exposing who they are, what they are, the fact that they're racist, the fact that they're bigot, that they're democracy.
Do you think there's a good role to just naming them as anti-Semites?
Not just anti-Semites, it's too simple. We need to present them for what they really are. They're anti-freedom, they're anti-Christian, they're anti-democracy. That's what we need to do.
Yeah.